Hello, and welcome to ClearPropTV. In this edit, we focus on the pilot and the information that they have to provide. We hope you enjoy the show.
Welcome, everybody. This is going to be a great podcast. Let's go ahead and say hello to everybody on the panel real quick, and then we'll get over to our guest tonight. And this is going to be great. We're going to do an hour. We are going to have a spinning wheel of Winnie things. So make sure you say hello to Will Fly and let him know that you are in the guest or in the chat so we can put you on the spinning wheel of Winnie things. All right, guys, let's start with Jim. He's our official sponsor for our show. He prints decals and stickers and calendars. Man, I couldn't do this without him. And he also has a great deal if you want anything on his carepp.com or his DIY site. All you have to do is use the code PPG Grandpa and you will get 10% off. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Well, thanks for the welcome. Yeah, that's awesome. I hope that I can entice some people to take advantage of the 10% off PPG Grandpa.
Absolutely. Well, not 10% off of me. I'm full price. I am full price, man.
Oh, no deals on PPG
There's no
Grandpa.
deals for me, buddy. I am vintage. So, so what do you do, and what can you do for people if they want to get some stickers or calendars made?
Sure, just check out the website carepp.com. You can go to the DIY printing side where you can design your own stuff and click print and it'll print out and get shipped to you. And then if you need something custom, which then just connect with us with the custom printing side and we'll get you a quote on it and give you that discount.
Now, I know that your money smells like maple syrup. Does your stickers end up smelling like maple syrup too, or is it just your money?
I've never scratched and sniffed my Snickers, so I have no idea.
No scratch and sniffs. All right, one of these days we'll definitely have to try some scratch and sniff Snickers. Hey, Jim, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for helping on the background, and thank you for being our sponsor on the show and helping us with calendars over at paramotorcalendars.com. All sorts of stickers, which we are giving away. Appreciate everything you do. Thank you so much, Jim.
Thank you.
And we also got Joshua Marsh from Joshua Marsh PPG. You can find him at ppgjosh.com. He's going to help us out in the background. He was also a guest, which is why he's also on the panel. What are you going to be doing for us tonight? You're going to be playing videos and pictures of our guest, Mike?
Yeah,
right?
I got a couple videos from YouTube and his Instagram reels, a couple of them hit. So we'll be going through them, watching how he does things.
Awesome. All the links are down below. Mike's bio is down below, so you'll be able to see our Paramotor guest here and what he's all about. We also got Paramom USA. She is our PR girl. If you want to be booked on the show, you better get up with her by going to paramomusa.com. It forwards over to her Facebook page, and she'll get you on the show. Welcome, Linda.
Hi, welcome. Hello, chatters and viewers and everybody out there. It's Monday night. The only place to be is right here with us, right here. This little my awesome panel. And I just want you all to jump in the chat and enjoy. We got lots of stuff in store tonight for you.
Excelente.
Thank you
so
much.
You got us booked up until what, February now or something like that? So
January. I'm working on something for January, so
okay, I know we got a couple.
I can't give any secrets out, but
oh, there's a secret. Okay, excellent. I love secrets.
yes,
So
yes,
if you want to get up with
spot open,
one spot in
so
January.
I'm working on that.
So if you want to be on the show, it might be February before we can get you on. So thank you so much, Linda, for everything that you do. We definitely appreciate you booking people. Wouldn't be able to do this without you. So thank you, Linda. We also got Will Fly from willflyppg.com. He is going to be putting all your names in the spinning wheel of Winnie things. He also got a new .com, paramotortips.com. Is that what it is, Will? And you're on mute, so we can't hear you.
That's it. I totally forgot about it. I completely forgot about the fact that I got that.
Oh, really?
I've just been so busy working on the van and stuff that I haven't even flown. So,
Oh my goodness.
but I made time to be on this very special show, and it's good to be here.
We thank you so much because we know that you guys can do anything that you want to, but you are here with us and you're helping us in the background. We also got Scuba Steve. He actually won the paramotordude.com. You want to learn more about Scuba Steve? Go to paramotordude.com. All right, guys, tonight is not about me, PPG Grandpa, where you can always find me at iflyparamotors.com or over at our school, paramotorarkansas.com. It's not about me. It's not about our panel. It's all about our guest. Tonight we got Mike. Man, Mike, not only is he a Marine, but he also flies paramotors and he's also has his GA license. Man, welcome to the show, buddy. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. It's been great flying paramotors, and then getting to be here is awesome. I'm stoked. So thanks.
I know that we talked about your last name and I didn't want to say it wrong. What is it? Because I
Say it, you can't be afraid to say it. It's Crotchett.
Crotchett. Okay. I didn't know if it was crochet or okay, Crotchett. All right. I know that we talked about it before on the pre-show and last week.
I've heard worse. It's no big
really
deal.
Tell me what's worse. No, don't tell me. So
That'll be your new nickname, man. Don't tell us.
Yeah, don't tell us. It might be your new nickname here. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. And as always, we always ask, so tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into paramotoring.
Oh, well, I'm Michael Crotchett. Was in paramotoring just this year, or excuse me, sorry, last year, 2021. Is that right? Yeah, 2021. I started actually flying a little bit of GA first, which I was trying to get into paramotoring before I got into GA. And I was one of those guys that bought equipment before I bought training. So I kind of, I forgot to mention, I bought a Fresh Breeze 202 Simonini. It's set in my house for a year. And I would tell myself every day, I'm going to go train to fly this thing. I'm going to teach myself maybe. I don't know, but I just couldn't afford to break it. So it just sat in the house as like a nice little piece, something to look at and futures to hold. So it never left the ground with my feet. I never trained on it, planned on using it after training, but I ended up actually selling it to my instructor and traded him.
So let me ask you this question real quick. For people out there that are always asking or think that it's better to grab, equipment before you go to training, what would you say to them?
I'd say don't waste your money, because I pretty much spent $4,000 on a used paramotor, which wasn't bad because it was just break-in hours. But still, at the same time, once I did training, I realized that I had much more outdated, older equipment. And I mean, I had a buddy who just recently purchased one, and I tried to say, hey man, don't do that. He still did it anyway. So he just wanted me to be happy for him. And I'm happy for the guy, but I could have got him a better deal had he waited. But you know how the fix gets you when you get that Sky Fix, you just you want to just grab it and go. And I would say just wait and get training. And then after training, you can go off what your instructor says or use their equipment. I mean, I know a couple instructors, or at least my instructor, I think as long as he's not using it for training, he actually rents out his gear to students who have been through his course for like $50 a day, I think. So even if you haven't figured out, the purchase and which one you want, you can still go to him. And after you train, you can give him like $50 a day and say, hey, thanks, let me borrow it, So I would just say, hey, just hold off, get your training, and then decide, because I bought a Fresh Breeze Simonini 202. It had 3.5 hours on it, and the guy just couldn't get it off the ground, said he needed more training. So, yeah.
So what are we watching on here? Oh, you're on your phone. You can't see what.
Oh, I can see it now. He shared the screen. That is my training. That's a little bit of my training I recorded. There's Todd Fallone, and that's me reverse kiting. And that was like one of my first videos, and I used my computer to make it with the video, and it had really good bouncy music, just kind of normal. No, apparently it was copyright infringement. So they made me go through it and mute everything. So it kind of sucks because you can't hear the talking or the sound. So I had to mute it. I don't know if I could ever get that audio back, but yeah, they made me basically mute pretty much everything in there.
Well, hopefully you'll
so-
be able to re-upload or something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, that was toe day. Today is toe day. I remember saying that.
So I
But
see on there that you were training in May. What day was your first flight?
so we did May 1st to the 7th, and we had really crappy weather in the first couple of days. So we did all our ground inside. We even got rained out one day. So I think May 4th, May 3rd, May 4th, I want to say, was my first actual day we did flying. And then from that day forward, so I think this was the first good day we actually had on the field was the day we did towing. We had a couple of days where we kited, and then it rained, windy, and then it got clear again. So we did tows, and then we did what they call paramotor, paramotor kiting with your, what they call, I can't remember the term I'm thinking of right now. I have a brain fart, but basically we put our motors on our back, and we're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna kite with motors on motor kiting. We're gonna motor kite.
So like
and
taxi, like power taxiing or something.
well, he calls it
actually-
motor kiting. He just
or-
gets you set up, and he's like, it's motor kiting, but it's not really motor kiting. If your wing's good, you're gonna go fly. But they just
Okay.
call you. They just try not to get you out. They don't let you know. They don't want you knowing that you're actually gonna fly until he sees a good wing, and he's gonna send you up. So he's talking to you in your ear the whole time. So yeah, this is me doing the toes. And actually, they made a bet. They said, oh, if you hit the cone, Teresa, his sister, is gonna buy you a steak dinner. I'm like, oh, I want a steak dinner. I want a steak dinner. So I got close to the cone, but after that, it was like I could never hit the cone. Bug got on the screen. This is me recording on my laptop at the time. And actually, if you look at his hanger,
You're recording
So-
on a laptop while flying?
no, this was recorded from my laptop, from my GoPro, because I didn't know how to figure it out. But if you look at the corner, if you
Gotcha.
look at the corner of his hanger, there's actually a paramotor wing stuck on his, and I got a story about that. But yeah, it was crazy. It was one of the other students there. He was a bigger, heavier set guy. That was the trainer's only tandem wing that he had at the time. And yeah, he's another Marine. He was a guy who sells corgis or breeds corgis for a living. He was a big, heavy set guy. And
Did he hit the building or just the wing?
the wing hit the building. So he just froze. Instructor's like, left, pull left, pull left. And he just was going straight towards the hangar, and he thought he was going to land in the gravel before the hangar, is what he told us. But he caught the hangar with the wing, swung in underneath the hangar door, and then landed on a, I guess you'd say like a gas can carrier for the back of like an Explorer or a truck. He landed on one of those and like bent one corner of it. I mean, he's a heavy set guy, and you could tell he was in immense pain after that. And that was his last day of training. They had to repair the wing. That was the only wing he could fly because he was so heavy, and they had to repair it before he could finish his training. And they said he can come back and finish training, but I've talked to Mike since then. I don't think he's actually came back, which is kind of sad. I was hoping he would have another Marine flying in the skies, but I think that did it for him that day.
Was that your first? So that would have been your first tow there, like a couple of videos back.
Yeah, it was one of my first tows. Yeah.
I remember my very first tow. But
I loved it, dude.
what feeling? I mean, how did you react to that? Your initial reaction?
I think my initial reaction was, oh shoot, excuse me.
Yeah.
I think I had alarm go off here. I hope I'm still back. Okay. My first feeling was like, oh, I'm actually doing it, and I'm in the sky, and then I'm like hooting and hollering. I think like, yeah, woohoo, just hooting, and it was scary too at the same time because it was like, oh man, I'm up, I'm actually up in the sky right now. So it was a little, it was a little like a wake up call, like, hey, you're flying now. You better listen, and like, yeah, it's fun, and at the same time, it's exciting, fun, and scary all at the same time. So it was a bunch of mix of emotions that day. I love towing.
Your breath away.
What's that?
To me, it took my breath away initially when my feet first left the ground. It was like,
Yeah. Like I said, I think I clenched. I think I clenched up a little bit, but it was like I said, like there's so much going on. I'm like, and I've did the Marine Corps training and stuff like that, and I didn't think, oh, I can do this. I ride roller coasters, And I just actually at the time, I think I actually had 7 hours NGA training and did the paramotor school. So, and then that was what was crazy in my GA training. I'm not trying to go into that right away, but my GA training, I think my second or third lesson was, let's do 45-degree steep turns. And I just ate McDonald's that day. And I'm like, oh, I got this, no big deal. No, 45-degree steep turn, pulling a steep turn. And I'm like, oh, I'm getting woozy, dude. And he's like, you're going to throw up? I'm like, I don't think so, but maybe. I'm like, yeah. He's like, just open the window, lean your head out and let it go out the window. I had the shoulder harness on. And so I'm like, open the window and I'm stuck right here. I just can't get my head out the window and it just all comes out. Doesn't even make it out the window. It just hits the back of the aircraft. And it was bad. So my instructor actually went and helped. I'm like, we landed the plane. He's like, yeah, we got to land now. I landed the plane and he's helping me clean up my throw up, which is like, dude, you got some. I was like, I don't know why you're helping me, man. I would make my students do that if I was you. I wouldn't touch the stuff. He's like, no, man, it happens more than you think. It's like, wow. So I was like, well, I appreciate you hanging with me here and cleaning this nastiness up. They had to put some air fresheners in it a couple of days. It was bad. But yeah. So I wasn't as tuned as I thought I was to my body. And I think when I started doing paramotor training, I think that might have helped with the steep turns and stuff, with getting the body used to the motion, because I haven't gotten sick since paramotor training and GA training. So I spent like $200.
I got a couple questions for you. Well, it's funny that you trained in May, because Kyle says my first flight was May 4th, but I don't count that because I only flew about 30 feet before I hit the ground and nicked a prop. So I flew May 5th. That's of this year, but not last year. How many props have you broke, and have you turtled yet?
I have not broken any props. Thank goodness. I have 0 props broken. Still have the original one on my motor. And I have not turtled yet, but I'd call it a Tigger bounce. I have on the paramotor that I have, the Adventure Pluma, excuse me. I have this, it's called the bumper. And the bumper, I like it because if you take the bumper off and you try to stand it up on even ground, it likes to fall over, the Adventure Pluma. And so my instructor, one of the guys that was helping us instruct, Todd Falone, actually, he was saying, oh, you're doing good now, man. You can take that bumper off. I was like, dude, I kind of actually like it because it helps it stand up on ground when it's uneven. But I did I think on my first actual takeoff in one of those videos that I have, my first actual takeoff was great, but my landing, I didn't have my chest far forward enough, and I came down like with 1 foot underneath my motor and used that bumper. I bounced the bumper and it bounced me back up on my feet. So I did have one of those, and I have taken a knee. I actually took a knee my first flight on my new wing, my Hydron 3. So,
all right, another question. And maybe this is for the whole panel. Maybe y'all can answer this too. If you do tow training, which I did not get, do you think it takes away from your initial experience the first time you fly a paramotor?
I don't know. Are you asking me or just everybody? Anybody?
Everybody can answer. I'm just wondering, because towing, you actually go up in the air, so you get that feeling.
That's my dad's house, actually. So, I mean, he's not under there, but that's my dad's. That's Dow, Illinois. Actually, that's Dow Tower, what we'd call Dow Tower. Sorry, the video. But I actually like towing. I like that aspect of it, because then you can kind of get the experience of landing a little bit without the motor. I enjoyed it, because then it was like, hey, you're getting towed up on a line, you get up in the sky, he lets us slack out, and then all the stuff he's telling you, left brake or right brake, small inputs, and he kind of teaches you how to land before you actually go up for your first flight. So I enjoyed it. And still to this day, he offers towing on good days when it's doable at his fly-ins, but it's just been, the weather hasn't been great enough to do the tows during his fly-in. So I would recommend it to people, because I would go up and tow. He says he'll cut, you get done with the training, he'll tow you up and go up to like 1,000 or however long his tow line is, go up, and then you just release the tow line, then you come down on your own wing, and
do you know what kind
glide
of
back down.
You know what kind of tow it is? Is it like a scooter tow, or is it a payout winch, or what is it?
I think he's got some kind of winch hooked up to his I think maybe it's a whole winch setup. It's been so long since I've seen it. It's been since my training, but I think it was hooked up at one point on an actual frame that he connected maybe to his golf cart at the time, or maybe he did have something else out there he had it hooked up to, because he's at one end of the field and you're at the other, and then you got to make sure you got a good wing, and you just, whenever you're ready, you run, and it gets overhead, and once he sees a good wing, he's towing you in, and you just go up. And a couple of guys, like, you know, what they call lockout, I guess, you know, you want to follow or stay within that. They tell you got to stay in this window. If your wing is going this way, you need to pull it back over and keep in line with the tow line or within his field. So that's something to be aware of. Like the guy who froze, which is like he's telling him left. Like if he would have just moved his arm left, and he wouldn't have swung in and hit that the heart, you know, had that happen actually. So
Yes, Steve, I would agree. I would personally have loved to have done towing first. My first time up, I was on my equipment and I came down, I stuck the landing, everything was great, but I'll tell you, I was scared out of my mind. And to have all that expense on your back at the same time, I would have loved to have tried it first, like Mike did.
I mean, well, I guess I wouldn't say that was my first time, because I did do parasailing, which is, I guess, similar to towing. You're just being pulled behind a boat, but I knew how smooth it was, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm good. I can do paramotoring now."
Yeah, I think
parasailing and paramotoring might be a little bit different.
Yeah, I've always wanted to parasail, and ever since I learned to paramotor, it's like I've seen too many parasailing accidents to not really want to do that anymore.
Yeah, I see in the chat, I think Travis said, someone please explain the tow machine. I never did any tows during training. Mike, do you want to explain what you know as far as towing, and I'll add something to it because we do towing also.
Okay, yeah, I can tell you what I remember and kind of from memory and what I remember seeing. So he hooks you up to a tow line. You're in like a kiting harness, or what's approved kiting harness.
Free flight harness, usually.
Free fly harness. He actually has free fly harnesses now, upgraded those. So it's probably a free fly harness if I remember correctly. But so you get hooked to that. You stage your wing up like you normally would. He's got the line at the other end of the field. He actually has one of the other instructors go out on like a scooter or moped or whatever he's got, a one wheel, whatever he can get back and forth really fast. He goes down and brings it to you. And then when you're all set up and ready to launch, you hook in. You got his other instructor, Teresa, there ready to tell you, okay, whenever you're ready, 3, 2, 1, go. She's kind of watching for anything that might be out of the ordinary, and everything looks good most of the time. And when you're doing it, and so it's at the other end of the field. I'm guessing it's on a winch system somewhat, and he's reeling it in on his end. Once he sees that good wing come up, you're running towards him at the opposite end of the field. He's over there. He sees a good wing, so he's cinching it in as it's coming up, and I think he gets you up to about 50 feet, maybe 100 feet, and then he kills a power on it. And then you come down you leave. He said, just don't worry about the tow line. It just drops between your legs, and then you just come down on your own power. He's done it so many times that he knows how high to get you, to get him to you, to get him to you, to the end of the field where he's at. So most of the time you're not going to overshoot the field. You're just going to land probably right before or right at his tow machine usually.
Okay. Does anybody else have any experience with tow machines that they want to talk about before I talk about tow machines real quick?
Yeah, it's an awesome question too, Steve, because I was fortunate enough my first flights were tows. And first of all, I remember I said that my very first response was fear. It's just a natural thing, just kind of gripped me. But I mean, it was fleeting. And then the whole tow lasts. It's a very short period of time. You go up, you come down, you go up, you come down. And so I think if nothing else, it removed that initial reaction and allowed me to concentrate more on, following the instructions of my instructor over the comms. So, I mean, if I had a choice, I'd do it all over again. I definitely recommend. And no, I don't think in any way it diminishes the feeling you get when you take flight on your own with the motor on your back. I don't think it takes away from that. I think it enhances it.
I agree. I
That's
think
what I
that,
was thinking.
I
I would
think,
think
yeah. What would you say, Jim? Go ahead.
I would think that it would enhance it because you can focus on the flying. You don't have to try and convince yourself to listen to the guy in the radio. No, don't flare, don't flare, don't flare. Listen to him, listen to him, listen to him. The ground is coming at you so fast. I agree. I think that a towing, it would be the best way to go.
Oh, and that video is me having my first go at my wing with my brother recording me. So this is me not knowing really other than watching videos on YouTube and Tucker Got. This is me trying to kite my wing for the very first time on video.
So one of the things when you first tried to get that wing up in the air, you thought, man, looking at these people, oh, right on the leading edge, exactly. And that's exactly what all
my
students,
first time.
everybody seems to bring it up, and then it just turns and lands on that leading edge. I think I need a shirt that says, not on the leading edge. Right now I got warning may talk about paramotors. Oh, speaking about shirts, guys, we got a shirt right here. It's Paramotor pilot shirt as it disappears on my background.
Magic screen.
Pretty
there.
cool.
That's
And,
cool.
so that's going to be one of our shirts that we give away tonight. So make sure you say hello to Will Fly, since he's going to be doing the spinning wheel of Winnie things. And we're also going to be giving away some stickers and some other fun things. But as far as towing, let's go back to towing real quick and finish up that. We do towing. We have a scooter tow, and it has about 2,000 feet worth of line, and we do the same thing that your video showed. The student goes up to about 100 feet, and then it goes slack, and then they come down, and then they flare. And I think it really helps the students a lot, because now there's like, oh, I already flew. I know what it feels like to come down. I understand what it feels like to flare now. Also too, bunny hills, if you get the chance, bunny hills are really good if you don't get to tow. If you go to an SIV course, you will also be able to get towed up to almost 4,000 feet, especially like the one over in Florida with
Andrew Fuller.
With Andrew Fuller, yes. He has a boat. He calls it Spooky. It's a payout winch. It's actually a gas-powered payout winch. And he will go out. He'll start the boat. He'll go, 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 go. You feel a little bit of pressure because it's paying out. And then right at the very end, once you can't hold it back anymore, you start running forward. It inflates. Boom, you shoot up. And over the course of X amount of minutes, you'll get up to about 4,000 feet. Release. And do some amazing fun things on the SIV course. So make sure that it's a payout winch. Don't just tie a rope or a line or a string onto the back of a hitch on your car or a four-wheeler or anything like that, because just like you were talking about, there's something that will happen as you come up. You'll start going off to the side, and if you don't correct it in time, you're going to be locked out, and all you're going to do is slam, boom, right into the ground. So it has to be a payout winch. It has to be someone that knows how to use a winch, because if you do it wrong, it could be very, very
Unforgiving.
very bad. I'll just say very bad, because it will be very bad.
You know what I have trouble understanding. I mean, I think it was I don't remember. Apparently, Kyle has one that goes up to 5,000 feet, but it seems like the longer the tow or the more line out you have, the more weight you would have. So does the boat have to go faster and faster and faster? I mean, you see my point, the physics of it. I'm just having trouble understanding all of that weight. That cable's got to weigh a lot.
Yeah, but
Feet of it.
what's really interesting is that we got a scooter towed. It's only a 50 cc, and at 25%, it pulls me so hard. I mean, it's okay. I've flown the electric paramotor. I've flown a Blackhawk 220, and I've flown some pretty big, strong motors. Okay, that scooter tow at 50 cc's at 25% pulls me up so quickly. It feels like I'm probably on a 300. I mean, I've never felt any motor pull me up so quickly as that 50 cc scooter tow. With the payout winch, like going to an SIV class, so it's going to unwind as the vehicle boat, or you can put it in the back of a pickup truck also, and as it's going forward, it's paying out. So it's not like a winch that you normally will get over at Harbor Freight. Don't ever, please don't use those. And never just use a line or a rope because it'll be very, very catastrophic. So they're designed, you can build them for about $5,000. There's a lot of them out there. Somebody just sent me one that was on the marketplace, but I didn't buy it because it was sold already. But anyway, tows are great. Search for tows and payout winches, and you might be able to understand a little bit more. Let's go ahead and get back to Mike real quick because Mike is the guest tonight. Don't want to take anything away from him.
It's all good. I still like learning and hearing from everybody else too. So
I just want to say, I think towing's important if you go anywhere to train.
Yes.
Towing's really good because it will help you learn to flare. That's the big thing. You'll learn flare. I didn't get that. So
yeah.
So you got to learn how to flare when you first flared on your first landing. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it was kind of I did more of a couple of home run slide into the plate type deals. And my third one, I kind of landed on my feet, but then I turtled. I wasn't expecting all that weight to hit me at the same time, and I fell back. So yeah,
totally understandable. All right, how are you doing, Will Fly? We got everybody on the spinning wheel of winning things right now.
We do. Yep,
Okay.
we are all caught up. And you got a couple of questions too in the chat.
Okay. Real quick, since it's 7:30, and I'll send you stuff out.
While it's spinning, can I ask Scuba Steve, did you get a chance to do a tandem with somebody before you flew?
Oh, good question.
Negative.
Man, just like me.
Yeah, I got to be honest. Kyle's a really good teacher. And I know Sean is too. I've watched his videos. I think Sean takes a little bit more time in getting you ready to get into the air. And I'm not taking anything away from Kyle by any means, because he makes damn sure you know how to kite and control that wing before he puts you in the air. And it was my own fault on that first takeoff. I think I had my leg straps a little too tight, so it kind of scooped me up in my seat. That's why, and as soon as that weight hits and the wing's not ready, you're going to go right back down into the ground, which is what happened to me. But the next day, man, it was boom, right in the air, and everything went really good. And he's up there like, hey, try a left turn, do a weight shift. He goes through all the stuff with you, which is great.
Yeah, do you see that now, Sean?
Yeah, now we see it. Yes.
I always do the chest. I always do a chest out and one leg forward to make sure I don't, because I've had that where I've landed and I'm almost turtled, but I have not yet. So I always just do the chest out, foot forward, and that seems to keep me from butt sliding or taking a knee or whatever.
Yeah. Love stickers.
Mike, what class wing is that you got? I'm just wondering.
The one in most of my videos is a Class A wing. It's an Air Design Easy. The color is fire. But I recently purchased, and I've trained and
you ain't got to brag. The color's fire.
It's fire. I always say Air Design Easy Fire. That's what it says on the little tag. So that's the one in most of my videos. And then the one I purchased recently, and like I was saying, I have flown roughly about four or five different wings, probably four. Maybe I might be adding one there that it doesn't exist. But my current wing that I have like 2 flights on is my Hydron 3 16 meter. So I really originally wanted the Nucleon 18 meter. It's just the one I demoed at EFD between that and the BGD Luna 2. I liked the Nucleon 4 the most and had the most fun on that wing. And it was incredible. It was fast. I could keep up with my buddy's free ride 19 meter. I only had it trimmed to 19 centimeters on that Nucleon. So then I ended up getting the 16 meter Hydron 3. It just turned cold on me pretty quick once I got that. So I've had 2 good flights on it. One where I flared a little too high and came down and took a knee. So that's my first knee I've had in the year and 6 or 7 months that I've been flying.
I don't think I'd get in the air on a 16 meter wing.
You went from a 24 down to a 16. What was your line of thinking with that? What were you?
Not necessarily where I went to straight up 24 to a 16. I did a 20 in training. My 24 was one that came with a fresh breeze. And then I flown the BG Luna 2, that was a 20, and then Nucleon 18 meter. It was just a good deal. It wasn't really a lot of thinking behind it. Like I said, I think I don't fly probably as much as some of you guys, but I try to fly every day possible. You know, I go to work, come home. If it's flyable, I'm usually trying to fly before dark hits, and that's all I just do is just go to the field and fly. So my thinking is that, you know, everything's gone up. Prices increased to like $4,500 for new wings, when like a couple years before COVID hit, it was like 35 to $3,000. And this wing came across another guy who flies in Boonville, Missouri. He actually had it for sale because he wanted to up his wing. He liked it, but he wanted an 18 meter, I think he got. So he ended up having that for sale for a while, and it was $2,400. And so I didn't know when the next time I was going to have $2,400 at one time that I could basically just toss out of a wing. So I kind of felt like it was a steal of a deal, bought it. And yeah, I mean, I don't recommend it as far as that, but my thinking was it was cheaper, more affordable than a brand new one. And it had maybe 60 hours on it. I think he'd flown it for like a year, and with the 60 hours on that wing. So, I mean, it's still pretty crispy. And of course, everybody was like, man, are you sure you can do that? You know, and it's like, yeah, man, I'm pretty confident in myself. But when I get everybody talking to me, it's like, you sure going from 24 to 16? It's pretty steep. I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, then I'm questioning myself. So I didn't ever have a reverse, or I never had a harness to really learn to keep my reverse kiting skills up. So at each fly-in I would go to, I would try to borrow somebody's kiting harness and just kite different wings and see what the difference is. Like, you know, I can fly a wing, I can fly it straight and level, and you know, I don't get with, you know, so that's my thought was like, you know, I know it's a 16 meter, I know it's a little spicier, but I was like, you know, if I want to fly straight and level, I can fly straight and level. I'm not going to do steep turns on it or try to barrel, you know, I'm not going to barrel roll. I haven't been wanting to do an SIV course, but I still have yet to do that, because that's another $1,200 or something that I'm gonna have to toss along with travel expenses. So, I mean, anytime I had a chance to kite someone else's wing, I would try it out. And if they were okay with it, would kite their wing, my wing. So now I have a harness that I actually just sent off to Andrew Fuller to get a quick release installed on it. So I got a quick release installed on my kiting harness that I'm going to switch over to my paramotor harness and take my old paramotor harness off and use that as my new kiting harness. So I have the quick release on my paramotor all the time. So I just decided to get that just because I figured it's better to have it, you know, and with the recent tragedy that happened over here in Washington, Missouri, it's like an hour from me, and they were supposed to meet in Herman, which is 30 minutes. So I just decided to just go for it. I bought floats too as well. But I mean, my thinking was it was cheap. And like I said, I tell people, like, you know, I can kite it, I can reverse kite it. And my buddy said that sold it to me. He said, hey man, make sure you kite that wing a lot before you decide to fly it. And that's what I did. I kited it and kited it and kited it. I probably kited it 3 to 4 hours before I actually took flight on it. And that was just on like a couple days before I flew it. I actually went to Paramotor Fright Fest, Para Fright Fest this year is when I purchased it. And there's the only fly-in I actually didn't get to fly because I installed a new throttle, rebuilt my carb, and bought a new wing all at once. And my carburetor was needing a low jet tuning, and I didn't realize it after I rebuilt it. It would start up, it would run up, and I was reverse kiting the 16 meter wing on the field, and I had it, and I was getting ready to go through full throttle, and I was like, well, I got a new throttle as well. I got one of them off-grid throttles, so it's getting used to that 2 fingers on the brake toggle and 2 fingers on the gas, basically. And that's Wildwood right there. That is a Lawn Owners Association campground that I kind of grew up at, and so there's really not too many people that live there year round, but it's a wooded area that it's around my LZ, and so there's a lot of fields outside of that as well. So I love flying there, and a lot of the people there at Wildwood love seeing me fly. They're always waving and smiles. Like I said, I've only had hunters tell me, hey, try not to buzz my field when I'm hunting. It's like, oh.
What's your maximum height that you've flown to?
Recently that I can remember, I've flown up to at least a little, probably 3,200 feet. 3,200 feet up at EFD. It was a nice day, and I just cranked the throttle up and was just going. And eventually it started getting cold. So I was like, okay, I'm going to look at my phone. I was looking at, what's the app? Gaggle. I was looking at Gaggle and was like, all right, 32, cool. I think it's at least for me remembering and recording it on an app, I think it's 32, but I've probably flown higher in training. I remember in training, I wanted to go up high, and I just cranked throttle. And I don't know exactly how high. It could have been up to 4,000. But 3,200 is definitely the most recent height I've been to that I can remember. And then my area is lots of trees. I have a lot of trees, but there's a lot of farmland. So I try to stay high enough. And I always do practice like kill the motor right over my field, or kill the motor it's my buddy's flown with me one day. He's like, did you kill the motor and holler at me while I was up there, like over the trees? I was like, yeah, I did. He's like, dude, you're crazy. Like, I wouldn't do that. I'm like, no, you're probably right. I probably shouldn't do that. But I've got an electric starter, and I just push the start button, and it's started every time for me. And I know that you shouldn't trust them that much, but I kind of do that and knew before that I knew I could make a field, and maybe not the field I want to land at, but a field that's around that campground that I kind of grew up at. There's farmland, conservation land all around me. So, and then there's a couple lakes. So there's a lot of shared lakes. I have 2 shared lakes at my property. And it's a Lotto association as well. And then down the road is the campground, Wildwoods, not Wildwood, Missouri, but it's a Wildwood campground. And it's got 400 acres of trails, riding trails. So I do a lot of 4-wheel riding too there, and fishing, figure the chance, or floating on some tubes, swimming. So me doing the quick release harness and the floats, even though, I mean, the river is probably 25 to 30 minutes of flight time south of my area where I fly. And so I've flown close to the river. I've never flown at it or nothing, but with all the little small lakes and ponds around me, and then one of my landing sites has an actual pond in the field that I land at. So if I was to get blown from a crosswind or something, all of a sudden, I think I feel better and more confident now in my having the floats, which I haven't received them yet from PPG Smoke. Waiting on those in the mail. Should be coming Tuesday or Wednesday. I feel more confident having the floats and the quick release, and I got the version 1 just because it was cheaper for me. But I feel a lot safer.
I don't want to step on Will's toes. People in chat are asking, do you have any details on the guy that went down in the Missouri River? Have they found his body, et cetera, et cetera?
You asking me or Will?
I'm asking you. They say
okay.
You know about it.
I do. I talked to one of the guys who, I don't want to really drop names, but his name's Ryan. He flies in Herman a lot. It's his go-to spot. And I don't know if he was flying with him that day, or if he was out of town at the time and they were flying in that area. But I've had a couple other buddies fly with Ryan. I have yet to fly with Ryan, but me and him have been communicating since that accident has occurred. And he said he got sent some sonar imagery to his phone that looked pretty much like he had a lot of confidence in that imagery to say that was him. But I think what I can remember from memory and not from text was that it was late and it was getting dark and cold. And so they hit the sonar imagery and they wanted to review it, but they had to go back to, I guess, Wisconsin, the Chaos Divers, I believe. And so they GPS pinged it, they geotagged it or something like that. They have like 3 different dive teams. So he was confident that that was him in the sonar imagery. But then I see a couple of days later that the family was posting stuff on Facebook saying they're still searching, they're still having hopes. And the Missouri River is tough. And then what I keep hearing from everybody else telling me, and I've grew up around it, it's not something to be taken lightly. The current's mean and it's fast. I've been told many times, don't take your little John V boat over in that thing, man. Just don't. It's not going to handle it. So, I mean, I've been told by several people, hey, don't even take canoe across it. You would not like it. So from what I understand, they thought they might have hit the sonar imagery on him, and the depth, I think Ryan told me, was about 18 feet where he went in at. And they said about a mile down from the Highway 47 bridge in Washington, Missouri, is where they found the sonar, where they pinged the sonar image that they think was him. But then from my recollection, they didn't have anything that could dip down and hook them up and try to pull them up from the surface, because the extraction would have been more dangerous at that time. So I think they might have waited till this last weekend. This weekend we just had, I believe they came back down and was doing some more searching, but I haven't talked to Ryan since. So I kind of have a little bit of information from Ryan. He's working and knows the family more than me. And that's the thing, is that I had a buddy call me and tell me, he's like, hey man, you know, at the last flying we went to in Illinois, he was there. We ate breakfast with the guy, and we sat around, and I couldn't believe it. And I was like, yeah, you're right. But he was more clean shaven then, so I didn't really recognize the picture at first. But from what I gather, they're still searching. I'll probably hit Ryan up after the show and try to figure out if he's gotten any more information from that. Because I told him, like, once, and I hope we do get that ping again, you know, because I don't know, he could be another mile down the river by now, or more, with maybe that chute opened up underwater and just pulled his body and his gear down further. But I don't know for certain. That's speculation. I just know that Ryan was confident in the imagery, and so was, I think, the family got sent it. Pretty sure the family got sent it first, and then so he was pretty confident that was him. And so they're still trying to, I believe, search that area and hit sonar. Like I said, I haven't talked to Ryan since probably Thursday or Friday of last week, or maybe Wednesday or Thursday last week. So I'll hit him up probably after the show, try to find out some more information on that. Because I told him, I was like, once, and I hope we find him, I'd like to sit down dinner with him and all the flyers kind of in the local area. A couple of guys I've in Eldon, maybe in some guys from Boonville, if I can get them to show up. Me and another pilot, Shondor, and I can't think of the names right now, all of them.
Hey, Mike.
Dave.
Mike, yeah, that would be awesome if you could do that and keep us updated on it. We'd really appreciate that. I'm sure everybody would. You had mentioned there that you had actually met him at a fly-in. Do you go to a lot of fly-ins, and are you planning on going to any fly-ins in the future?
Yeah, so I went to my first fly-in was at my instructor's fly-in. It was like a few months after I trained. So it was Para Fright Fest. It was in Fowler, Illinois. Mike Mixer holds the event, and his family, they're great people. I mean, they have great food. They cook your food. You buy your ticket cost, get you your food, a t-shirt, and some other things. So I actually went to my second fly-in, was Bad Apples in Georgia. Then my third fly-in was EFD in Fredonia, Kansas. And then this year again is when I met Loudermilk down there at the second Paramotor Fright Fest that I've been to. And I met him. Me and my friend Dave and his wife and a few other people were hanging out, Robert. And we were hanging out trying to help this other paramotor pilot fix his cage and his sections on his cage. And he was sitting there in the grass with us shooting the shit. He had a actual one wheel. I think he had a pint, I believe. And then I think Dave had one as well. And so Robert and me, and he's trying it out. He's never tried one. And I've rode a couple at fly-ins. So he was messing around with his, I was messing around with Dave's, and we were just kind of going around the field. And it didn't dawn on me that I think he left that day. We were supposed to do, he got invited to go go-karts, because we did go-karts that day. And he said, oh, I can't go. It's from what Robert told me. He was like, oh, I can't go. I got to go home to my family and stuff. So he left that day. We were doing the go-karts, I believe. And that was on a Saturday afternoon, I think. But yeah, I mean, I've gone to 2 Paramotor Fright Fest, and I've gone to Bad Apples in Georgia, and I didn't get to go the whole week. I just went for a few days. I got there on a Friday morning at 2 a.m. and stayed till Sunday afternoon. So I didn't get to stay the whole week like I wanted to. But and then I went to EFD, Fredonia, Kansas. That was fun. I flew every day, every morning and every night. It was awesome. I had a good time there.
So how is it at fly-ins? Are you more apprehensive or scared about flying with like 80 other pilots in the air at the same time? Because you're not just worrying about your own actions, but you have to worry about everybody else's around you. Does it scare you at all?
My first time was definitely the biggest one was Bad Apples. And my first time was like, damn, this is a lot of people. This is the most people I've ever flown with in one time in the sky. So, I mean, actually, once I got up there and they kind of have it controlled, you know, they kind of got guys on the field saying, okay, you got your wing set up, you know, you get your wing set up first. They don't want you bringing the motor out with your wing, get your wing set up first. And then you get that all staged up and ready to go. Then you bring your motor out. And then they got kind of like guys on the field and vests and stuff saying, okay, looking, you're ready to go. Okay, you. So you kind of, it's kind of controlled takeoff, and it's the best they can with the people that they have volunteering. So once I got up in the sky, you know, the sky's pretty big. I just kind of watched everybody else and where they went, and just kind of did my own line, flew my own path, and just kind of watched everybody else from a distance. And just, I mean, yeah, you want to keep your head on a swivel because you got guys that are probably on their phones or doing paramotor videos and stuff like that. So you just want to, I mean, I just was paying attention, and I got around some other pilots that were playing around in the field. Actually, were one of the guys threw his reserve that year at Bad Apples. He threw his reserve.
Was this? What year was this that you were there?
This year, May, was it
Okay.
May of 2022? Yeah. So, yeah, I was getting around, and you get around all those pilots and you see them doing like wing overs and doing crazy stuff, and it makes like, oh man, kind of, it's like, oh man, they're doing it, you know? So, I mean, it gives you a little more confidence too, that you see these guys doing these stunts or maneuvers. And so I, that day in Bad Apples, I started trying to do my wing overs, started trying to time it right, and started trying to practice it on my A-wing. And I was just playing around in the field all by myself, and there was guys coming in and out, but I was just kind of got away from everybody and was trying to get the wing tip to the horizon, pulling hard right, pulling, you know, timing it, pulling hard left. And I was having fun, even just doing baby wing overs. They might have been little 180s in the sky, I call them, but you know, whatever I was doing, it was fun, you know, and I didn't do any damage to myself or anybody else. So it was a good time.
Are you planning any upcoming fly-ins?
Yeah, I want to go to the next greatest or the next available fly-in, especially in warmer weather, since it's Missouri and it's pretty much cold set in, and I don't think it's coming back to warm weather. And although my first cross country was in December 2nd of 2021, and it was 70 degrees that day. So that was my first recorded cross country that I tracked and actually flown with another paramotor pilot who's got a little more experience than me. He's like, what do you do normally? I'm like, normally I just fly around the area that I take off in, and I don't really go anywhere. I don't have a plan. He's like, okay, well, why don't we plan something? Why don't we just leave from Fulton Airport, go up to Kingdom City, and then we'll come out to where you launched your paramotor at, and then we'll head back to the airport. So did that on December 2nd, 2021, and it was 70 degrees. I flew in my little flight suit, it's cloth flight suit, and that was it. And still landed with 4 liters of gas. I was surprised. I was like, I could almost go do this again. I could almost go do it again.
So for under 10 grand, you have a paramotor, a wing, a kiting harness, and unlimited training,
And helmet.
and a
I had to
helmet.
make my own helmet. I
There's
made my
no
own helmet.
freaking way, man. You must
We
be
might even
like-
throw in a reserve if you do something. See, over here at the training too, we do training, and if people win certain things because they're doing kiting, we're doing kiting wars, we're doing different things where 2 people are kiting one wing, and whoever wins gets big items. We give them huge discounts, $100 gift cards, free things like free helmets, free kiting harnesses. So we really hook up our students.
That's pretty cool. That's awesome.
I'll come be a student for a week.
There you go.
I spent 9 grand, including my previous paramotor plus my new paramotor plus training, over 9 grand. I spent at least 12 with all that. So
We get a lot of people that talk about, you know, training. You go to some of the bigger places and you're already talking at $4,000 just for training. I think the highest one is 4,500, and that's just for training. There's no gear. You get nothing. I don't even know if you get a t-shirt, but
yeah,
I spent
I couldn't afford to do that 2
$9,500
weeks.
$9,500 on my paramotor, $3,850 on my wing, $2,500 on my training, and then my helmet was another $200 or $300. Yeah, that's way more than what you're charging. Way more. I mean, it's a factory
That's a good
R,
deal.
but I didn't
And you're-
have to get that. That was my own choice there.
Yeah, and you're in Arkansas, so you're like next state over. I'm gonna have to meet up
Yeah.
with you one of these
I
one of
just
these
had a
days.
student. I just had a student come in from Missouri, and another student come in from Texas. So I mean, people are coming from other states because I got the best deals.
Yeah, when I found out about Resurgence, I think it was right around COVID hit. I was trying to get through to them, and I was reading on the website that they weren't taking any new people right now. They were so booked, trying to get caught up. And I met the guy who's running I think it's Todd. I don't remember his last name. I met the guy at Bad Apples, and I just told him, "Hey, man, I tried to get to you guys. I knew you guys were booked. I just want to appreciate finally getting to meet you." But I said I ended up using the COVID relief funds for my training. So I said it kind of worked out. Yeah, I was wanting to actually originally go through them, but I couldn't wait any longer. I was just like, screw it. I'm just going to stack some cash. And I wasn't working at the time. So I got a job and started saving some money. COVID hit. And then, so yeah, I got to meet the guy. I highly recommend it if they have the availability and you can get signed up for them. If you're a disabled veteran, do it.
Exactly. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't go through because they only have so much money that they can bring in. Resurgence only has so much money and they can only do so much. So
Yeah.
I'm willing to give my time. If you know any disabled veterans, please send them my way. Have them text me at 501-747-3558. And let's see if we can get people in. And I don't even mind if they stay well, not right now because of my mom's living with us. She had her knee replaced and her house has a bunch of steps. But next year I wouldn't even mind having disabled veterans stay with me, let me feed you, let me train you, and let me get you some amazing deals on gear. I do want to say thank you for all the people that helped me out way back in the past. If you know my backstory, I had heart surgery. I had a stroke as a complication, and I wasn't able to work for a year. My wife had to work, and she took care of me. And when it was time for me to look for a place and get training and all that stuff, people came out of the woodwork to help me. So I want to give back to this community because you guys helped me so much. Everyone out there, you know who you are. I don't know if you want me to name drop you, but you guys up in Wisconsin, oh my God, thank you so much. You know who you are. Thank you. You've helped me more than you know. Will Fly, you've helped me so much. I thank you so much. Brian Waller has helped in the past. John Wayne is helping too. We got so many people that are helping that have helped me. I want to give back. And that's why I don't charge much. I try to give as much as I can. I just want to do what I can for everybody. And also too, if you guys don't know, January is going to be our fourth season doing this show. And it's all because of you guys. So thank you so much. We definitely appreciate you. Mike, it's almost 8:30. Is there anything else that you want to say? I think we went over everything, right? You took your PPC flight in 2008. You got your GA license, you fly paramotors.
I'm still a student pilot. I haven't got the license quite yet.
Okay, you're still a student pilot doing your GA, which is awesome.
Close to getting it though. Close.
I think we went over everything here, so I think that we got it. So
How
Mike,
many flights have you had, Mike? I mean, on a paramotor.
Like I said, I don't know. I've lost count of actually how many. I mean, if I was to guess, I'd say at least 150 to maybe less than that, but close to. Maybe more. I mean, like I said, I try to fly any flyable day. I got a nuke tower, I call it. So there's a power plant out by my house, and it has outages every year, but it's got a big smokestack, and so it's my big windicator. And when that thing's going straight up, I get goosebumps.
Hey, James has an interesting point, and he's right. It's sometimes easier just to check your motor, the number of hours on your motor to keep track of your time.
Yeah, that's what I do now is my hours. Like, so I don't know how many flights. That was a rough guess. Like I bought this motor with like 82 to 83 hours on it. And now I'm at like 100 and close to 140 hours on it. So that's the math. Plus I trained on an Atom 80, which don't even know how many hours I put on that during training. So it was because of the weather too, wasn't the greatest. So he usually try to shoot for at least 25 flights in training. At least my instructor did at least 25. And so I'm pretty sure I got close to that. And in each flight's, depends on you. And usually it's come in, take off, do a pattern, come in, land. All right, get set up again, take off. And if you get comfortable enough to do a touch and goes, but no, I don't see too many new students doing touch and goes at the beginning of their training. So, but I got maybe 20 to 20, close to 25 flights, probably 20 flights in training. And then, like I said, whatever that equates to hours. And then plus like my hours. So I'm thinking I'm at a little over 76 hours with my current equipment and not including the training hours. So that's how I keep track now. It's like GA stuff. It's just hours instead of numbered flights. Because I've had short flights. I've had flights that last like literally 5 minutes because the wind's so trash. I just get up off the ground, come back down and land. Hey, that was a flight.
Right.
Whether it was an hour or 5 minutes. I mean, it just accumulates on my tack on my motor.
Absolutely. It is 8:30, and I know sometimes people on the panel have to leave early. Does anybody need to leave early? We're only going to be talking for maybe another half an hour, but if you guys need to leave, just let us know. Jim, are you
Yeah, I
good
appreciate-
for another half an hour? Will Fly, are you okay for another half an hour, or do you need to leave, bud?
Yeah, I do. I have to get going.
All
Hey,
right.
thanks for being here. I appreciate you guys having me. And sorry if I didn't get the answer fully, or if you want a more in-depth question to me, just ask me sometime, Facebook, shoot me a message, whatever.
Oh, dude, Mike, you were perfect. You did a great
Yeah,
job.
you-
Really good to have you on the show.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
It was great
Yeah.
it's great to be here.
It was
Thank you,
really nice.
Mike.
So Will's going to leave, but we're going to continue. We just want to make sure
Oh.
that, we're
Yeah,
not.
no, I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
leaving. I'm not
holding-
leaving.
We're just making
Oh,
sure
okay.
that if you
I
got to
just wanted to
go,
say
we
it's been
want
a
to say
pleasure, for
goodbye
sure.
and see you off, instead of just, oh shoot, I got to go. I hope
Thank you, Will. Thanks for
Yeah, thank you, Will.
everything.
Thanks, Will.
You guys, if you haven't done so already, please thank Will in the super chat. He does so much in the background. Not only does he make the spinning wheel Winnie things, he checks for questions in the super chat and brings them over here, and he also makes our thumbnails. So when you see the show, you see the thumbnail. That's his stuff. He does that. So Will, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for everything you do, buddy.
It's my pleasure. Y'all have a great night. It was a great show.
Awesome.
too.
Thank you,
You
Will.
too.
Good night.
All righty. So let's go ahead and wind up everything. It's 8:30, so we'll go ahead and roll everything up here. Mike, like I said, I think that we went through everything. I think we're good. Is there anything else that you want to talk about, or is there anything else that you need to explain or go on?
No, not that I can think of off the top of my head. Like I said, when my first paramotor or my first powered flight was under a PPC wing. My buddy that got me into that actually had just purchased one, and he wants me to kind of teach him to kite. And I'm like, well, man, I'm not an instructor, but that's something I would like to probably do. It's getting my instructor stuff done, and eventually I want to do tandems. People always ask me to take them up, and I like, well, with my current setup, it's just I can't do it. With my bigger wing, I just need more power, and I need a tandem foot launch setup. So, and that's another like grand. So it's just money.
I need to get my tandem also. If there's anybody out there that can give out tandems and you want to help, an old grandpa out to get his tandem, please get up with me. I do need to get my tandem exemption. I just don't have the cash right
Yeah,
now.
I don't. Me neither.
So if you can help an old grandpa out, please let me know. Jim has also said that he's got to go. So let's go ahead and wave goodbye to Mr.
Later,
Jim.
Jim.
Hi,
Thank
Jim.
you
Thank
so much
Jim.
for everything that you do for
I'm
us in the show over at carepp.com. He can print out all the stickers, decals, calendars, whatever you need printed. Tell us real quick before you go, Jim, what do you do, bud?
Oh, you bet. I got a print shop, so I can do pretty much anything. And if I can't do it, I'll find somebody who can, except for maybe scratch and sniff stickers. That sounds pretty complicated.
Ah, damn it. I really wanted one. And I wanted socks. I see your shirt says got socks.
Yeah, I got those.
Good deal. Well, thank you so much, Jim. We appreciate everything you do, buddy. And thank you for being on the show. Get up with me because there's some things I want to chat with you. So get up with me sometime this week if you get the chance.
Sure,
Every
sounds
time Kyle took a picture, he was like, for the calendar. So he needs to get with Jim. I want to see this calendar that Kylo's supposed to make. I want to see.
Yeah,
it.
you bet.
Kyle O's making a calendar.
I mean, that's what he said that when he took the picture. For the calendar, if you fly with him, He takes a picture with you. You graduated.
Yeah.
He said it was for the calendar. I want to see this calendar.
And that's
Oh.
also another Flyin he does after Thanksgiving. I've been wanting to go to Kylo's little get together after
I want to go
Thanksgiving.
so bad, but I mean, it's
I don't
in
have 'em. I don't know.
Arkansas and not Arkansas. Oh my God, I'm thinking of Sean. It's in
Shreveport.
Louisiana,
Louisiana, yeah.
and I would have to. It's an 18-hour drive. I really can't. No, and I'm not flying down there because I'm not putting my equipment on a freaking airplane because it may not ever make it there. So that
Just fly
Yeah,
your
they lose
just,
so much baggage. Yeah.
just fly your paramotor over there.
Oh
Do
yeah,
that
I
long
want.
cross
Okay,
country
then
like
you
that
fly
one
your
guy did.
paramotor from Arkansas to Virginia. I'll be waiting right here. Come on.
I don't know if we're gonna do that or not.
There's my girl.
Josh, did you say that you have to go too, bud? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, just a couple minutes. I'll be heading out.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna close this down in
Hey,
just a little
thanks
bit.
for throwing up my stuff on the
Who is
show.
Jay?
Yeah, Josh.
Or
There's so
Hey,
much
my
stuff that went
girl.
on there that I wish I could talk fast enough to explain or tell people about. So appreciate
you
you
got
helping
your
me out
new
there.
subscriber on there too, so keep them going.
Hey, yeah, I'm gonna try to get up to date on my new
Look at Jay
My
with the lighting trying to look
YouTube.
like an angel and stuff. We know better than that.
She is.
Oh.
Thanks for being a
love
subscriber, buddy.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
haven't subscribed, make sure that you use the links down below. If you want to learn more about Mike, go to paramotorguest.com and you'll learn all about him. He has a bio, pictures, his social media links. And do you have something else over there too, like free stickers? Yeah, you just go there and you get free stickers for him too. It's great. It's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't done stickers, but yeah, I'll get them soon.
Well, it's on Paramotor Arkansas website. All they gotta do is stickers.
Thank you for listening to the end. If you enjoyed the show, please hit the thumbs up. And if you'd like to hear more, then click the subscribe button and you'll be notified when new ones come available.